So guys, hello. In this tutorial, we'll be creating a storybook app or book publishing app. I really don't know what to call the app, but a app where you create a book and you just send it. It gives you features to create chapters, and we'll be using Flutter Hook for state management and Firebase. That's what most tutorial use. So I just use that against Upright or creating my own backend or AWS Amplify. And I'll try to make this tutorial quick, which will be hard because I tend to just um, write directly instead of looking for ways to make it faster, but I'll make it as quick as I can so you can get the essential knowledge you need to know how you can use Flutter for as a state management solution to create good app, at least small apps, which I won't advise you use it for very big app because you might as well use just set states. So let's get into this tutorial.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
be creating our app on a web browser. So let's start by creating our Firebase project first. So let's go to the Firebase console, add a project. So let's make this Flutter Hook app. So continue. Then we select. So that should create the project. So you can also come to the terminal to set up Flutterfire. I won't be doing this manually. I'll be using the Flutterfire CLI to install my package. So I won't be adding this since I've already added the packages I'll be using in my pubspec.yaml. So you can check every package you'll be needing for this tutorial. So let's say awesome snackbar content for snackbar content you might use it, you might not use it. It's not the main package you'll be using is the Cloud Firestore, the Firebase Auth, Firebase Core, Flutter Hooks, Markdown, editable text inputs, Markdown widgets, and UUID. So you can check the let me minimize this. So these are the packages we'll be using. The dependencies from here, the line from line 11 to line 20 here. So let me go back to my main function. Open my terminal. This has finished. So let's continue. So that should take us to here. So now let's add the Flutter CLI. So if you come to this, the Firebase Flutter Fire documentation, you'll see this. This is the link here. All I have to do is, since I've installed the CLI, if you've not just installed it using this, all I have to do is just copy the Flutter Fire CLI into my terminal and press enter to configure. So now I can select the project I've created. So I created Flutter Hook app, which is this Flutter Hook app. So select it. I'll not be creating, use the space bar, space key here to remove the ones you're not using. So I'm not using macOS or iOS, probably Android and web. So enter to generate the Firebase configuration file for us to use. So since that's done already, if you refresh our Firebase console, you should see, so you have the Firebase option there, which contains the file of configuration for Android and web app that we've created. And you can see you have two apps here already. So Android and web as you created. So let me start by activating some of the products we'll be using. So we'll be using the authentication here. So let's go into the signing method. Let me get started. So only email and password. Then let's save this. And now we'll also be using Firebase, the Firestore database. That's Firebase Firestore. So create database. Just next. So you have to click your location you want to use. I'm going to use any location here. So for United States, NAM5. So next. And you also have to decide if you want to start the production or in test mode. We're going to start the production, but we'll modify the Firebase rule in a minute. So let's use enable. So when this is created, come to the rules section here and let's update the rules. We'll change it later just so we can work on our project without any problem. So you come here and change this from false to true. So just publish this. So now you come here to your main function here. You copy this, you paste it up here. You also copy this, you paste it here. Then make this async. And this should work now. So refresh. And that should work. Now let's create a splash page. Let's create a splash page. So let's come here. I'll create a splash page here. So splash page. This won't actually do anything. All this splash page will do, all what this splash page will do is just redirect our users from either the authentication page, that's the sign in and login, or to the home page where we can create what we want to create. So dot. So let's say stateless. Now press back. So let's create a stateless page. Stateless which splash page. Splash page. So import material. Let's also use the hooks. So since we are using the hook widget, so hook widget, let's see if we can import this. So okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the use stream hook, which is like using a stream builder, but the hook stream use stream is the wrapper on the stream builder. So let me just show you how it will work so I don't end up confusing you. So let's say we have a final user equals use stream. So use stream here. So close this. And we can use the Firebase. Let's see if we can import this. Okay, let me Firebase dot instance. Sorry, no, Firebase auth, not just Firebase. Firebase auth dot instance dot auth state. So we want to check for the auth changes, users changes if it's signed in or signed out. So, and I also want to add an initial string or initial data that should be passed into. So initial data would be the same Firebase auth dot instance. So since this is a what do you call it? Let's continue. I cannot remember what they call it. So there's current user. So I want to get the current user, and that's what I want to get. So if you click over it, you see that async snapshot of users. So let me just pass this into our project. So a scaffold with body, and if the user dot data is not equal to null, else get this or this. Now let's create our home page. So we can go there. So either create two different auth page first. Auth page. This is where we have our sign in and sign out page. I'll combine the two together so you don't have to create more. And also our home page. So home dot So let's say our auth page first. So let's say stateless widget. So auth page, and change this into, let's first get our material and get the hook widget. So this is for the hook, and let's just create a scaffold with body, text, auth page. So save. I can just copy this. Our home. Oh, shit, mistake. It's supposed to be home, home, home page here, home page, and here should be the auth page. So I think, yeah, this is good. So splash page. Now splash page. Let's just, so if it's no, I want to get the, so if there's no user, I wanted to take them to the auth page. Or if there is a user, you take the user to the home page. So this should save. And now let's put our splash page into our main function here, into our main dot page here. So let's say our home should be this. So yeah, splash page. Our material app, I also want to make some changes. I also add some extra data here. So let's say the title here should be my Flutter Hook app. Let's say our team here. So team data, yeah, and color scheme, color scheme. So color scheme dot from seed. So our seed color should be, let's see, colors dot, see, amber. Okay, amber. And we can either add a brightness here. So we can add brightness, but this should be light. I don't know. Brightness dot light. And let's also use material 3. True. So brightness, so you can change this from light to dark. So brightness dot, let's say light. You can change it to dark towards the end of the tutorial to just showcase how that will look like. So go back here and refresh this. So as you can see, auth page, since the user does not exist yet, so it takes us to the auth page instead of, so it does not just stay on the splash page, it just takes it directly to the auth page. Now let's design our auth page. Let me start by creating our auth button. So, and the values we'll be needing here. So class, sorry, stateless widget. So let's say auth state, or auth button, sorry, auth button, and we'll need some parameters to pass in. So final, the void comeback, the void function, unpressed, function. So a final color. Or you see this why I'm trying to get the background color later. So just have different, so background. Just copy this. So text color, and let's get input data. So string input data. So add the parameters that is needed. Okay. Now our text button here. Text button. So unpressed should be unpressed. Child would be, let's say, text. Our input data. Now the style and text style. Color, text color. So text color. So save this. Now what else? Let's change the text button color. Let's put the text button color. So let's say, okay, here. So text, this text, let me see, style here. So text button, copy this, put it here, dot style from, and let's create a fixed size. So const size 30, 60. That's for, I think, width and height. Yeah, width and height, which are, they are both doubles. And the background color should be background color. And also, I want to add some radius, some other radius to shape. Sequence rounded rectangle. Let me see, rounded rectangle border. So border radius and border radius dot all and radius dot circular. And let's make this 12. So let me save this. Yeah, okay. That should be off our alt button. And let's create a alt text input. So let's say stateless widget. So alt text input. So that's a stateless. So we need some particular. So let's say final void function. So this takes in a string. This will be for our onChange. So onChange. This also taking a text editing controller. So final text editing controller. So this should also be nullable. So controller final string helper final string int text final bool visibility. So this is for the password, if to check if it should be visible or not. So final void function. Sorry. On visibility check or on visibility pressed. So visibility pressed and final bool enabled. So just to check if the text input should be enabled or not. You see the reason why I use that soon, so don't worry. So save this. And now let's just create a row. Children. Let's see. So text field. Decoration. So input decoration. Border. Outline input border radius dot all. So let me see, border radius dot all, and the radius of circular dot radius of circular, it should be 12. So let me save this. Now border side should be border side colors just black. The width should be 10 and stroke align. So border side dot stroke align dot outside. Add the comma here. So now if this is okay, add an helper text here. So helper text, is that where it should be? Okay, sorry. Here. So helper text here. So helper text. This should be helper text. Helper text, let's say int text. Move the constant here. So int text should be int text enabled should be enabled. Unchange, unchange. I think that should be outside. So unchange here should be unchanged. And controller, we also need that. Controller should be controller. And obscure text should be visibility. And now outside our text field here, let's add an if statement here. So if the text helper text equals password, I want to create a button here. So center a child icon button, icon button. Oh, the on press will be on visibility press. So and the icon will be icon. And if the visibility is true, I want to use icons dot visibility of and if it's not true, I just want to use icon dot visibility. So let me put a comma here. So let me try to design this a little bit. So let's just add a little style on it. So style. So button style. But no, let's leave this out. And also don't forget, I'm going to add an expanded widget here to make this widget the full take the most of out of the width between the both of them. So now let's add our main design. Let's start the main design. Let's go up here. So let's start with the single child scroll view. Sorry, okay, yeah. So single child scroll view with a child of padding, and edge insect dot all 30 child create a form, the child of colon children cross axis alignment dot start. So cross axis alignment dot start. So cross axis alignment dot start. Now for let's create a text here. Text that says let me see. A U AU with a text scale factor of 3. So let's make this also bold. So style textile font weight. So font weight dot bold. Dot bold. What's the error here? Const constructor. So remove this. Sorry, it should be font weight. Font weight. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it down here twice again. So welcome to my MC. This should be, let's say, 1.5. Let's also remove the styling here. So this would be welcome to Flutter book publishing app, and we've been expecting you. Save this. You come down here, and now let's have a size box. So size box height of, let's say, 30, height of 30, height of 30, and a small const text. So since we'll be using the registration and signing on the same page, let's just make this clear to the user so they know to only enter your name, only enter your name if you want to sign up. So let me try to add some. Let me see if I can add an emoji here. So let's say exclamation. Let me add some coloring so it becomes different from other text style. Say color. Make this thicker. So now for text input, let me see. Our alt text input. Alt text input. So visibility. Now let's create our, before we do this, so this becomes just easy, so we just implement them directly. So let's create our hook, our some of our hook stuff. So let's use the final name controller. Let's create a name controller. So name controller. So name controller is a you use, so every hook starts with a use. So use text edit controller, use animation controller, use context, everything else use focusing. So let's use a use text edit controller. So text edit controller with a text of empty, an empty text at the beginning when it starts. So the use text edit controller is just a wrapper on the text edit controller. So let's make this 3. This is email and password. And password. So what else would we need? Let's also get a, to change states, which is going to be like the set states if you're using a stateful widget. So let's say final password visibility should be equals to use state, use state, use state, and it's going to, the value is true. It's going to take in a boolean. So if you over is supposed to be a value notifier of boolean. So let's also get a is submitting. It should be false because when it's initial, it's not going to be submitting. So is submitting. So yeah, that seems to be okay. And now let's create our alt text input. Alt text input. Yeah. So visibility should be I also want to check something that I'm coming. Let's see. Visibility and enabled, it shouldn't be required. So visibility should be false. Yeah, and enabled should be true. Yeah. Let me see for this. Okay. I think this is okay. So now let me go back up and try to call it again. So alt So let's say alt text input. We're going to need 3 here. Let me also get the size box. So this is going to be 10. So let me just copy this 3 times since we'll be needing 3 of this. So alt text input. So what do you want to pass in? The controller. So all you have to do is just the name controller. So name controller. I also want to change the move the constant here. Name controller. Don't mind the blue warnings to go away soon. So let me just create what we need for this. So enable should be the opposite of is submitting. So to access the value of a use state, that's the value notifier. So you just all you have to do is just a dot notation and dot value. So the value is the boolean, while this is the value notifier. So and the upper text should be name. Okay, I think I should copy this one instead of the one I used down there. So let's just copy, remove this. So this will be email, and email, and this should be password. So password. Yeah, now I can save this. So yeah, that's all. And what else do we want to add? We also want to add change the visibility. So this is what we created here. And on visibility pressed. So this should be a function of password visibility. So to access that, we also use the dot value. Password visibility should be equal to not the opposite of password visibility. So dot value. The mistake here. So password. Yeah. So and let's also add visibility here. So to check if it should be visible. So visibility should be password visibility dot value. So the same dot value. And okay, let's make this small letter. No. So let's also come down here. I made this small letter. So it means lowercase. So let's just a uppercase. So that should give us a visibility here. So if you type something here and make this visible or invisible. So that's what we did there. Let's also create the sign in and register button at the ending. So let's make this padding of let's say edge insect dot symmetric horizontal, that's left and right, 40 child should be a row. Child should be a row, a children, and we'll just bring in our alt button. Alt button, all we have to do is pass in the input data. So register. Now the background color, this is the reason why I changed it. So colors dot black 87, text color. So colors just white, and on press we haven't created on press yet, so let's just on press. Now let's make this expanded, so since we're creating 2 buttons, so they can both take equal space. So let's just copy this, paste it down here, and this will be sign in with the background color of, let's say, gray. Just gray, let's see, gray 200. I think this should work, and black 87. So copy this, and let's see. So this is what we created. And now see we can just hide this part if it's not loading. So if statement here, if it's submitting, dot value equals false, then show this. Can I add an else statement here? I can't actually remember if I can do this. So else, let's just use center, and child circular progress indicator. I think this should work. So now let's create our function for on press and register on the sign in and register. So let's see up here. So let's say void sign in. So I won't be doing any validation in the code just a second, so you can quickly end this tutorial. So you can be able to do some other things instead of just focusing on simple things that you probably already know if you are used to, right? If you started doing Flutter like validation. So let's say if email controller dot text dot length is less than 2, and let's just use password. So password controller. If this is true, just return nothing. So return nothing. So it does not go through. Now let's see is submitting dot value equals true. Try and catch here. So try and catch. Let's see if let's first make sure it's submitting is false here. So false. Let's also make it false down yet. After it has submitted, so it's going to be false. And add anything you want to add down here. You mostly add the snack bar to show you that it has failed or something like that. Because it pop up to show the user that it didn't go through. So up here, await Firebase hot dot instance dot sign in with email and password. Sign in with email and password. So use the email text text controller dot text and password text controller dot text. So go back here. So when we are done, we are going to change this back to false, and that should be all. Now let's just copy this to create our register button. So let's make this register. Let's also make this, and let me copy this, paste it here, and make this name controller. So name controller, and everything here true, except create user with email and password. So sign in will be create user. I think that's it. Yeah, create user with email and password. And I also want to add the username and ID to Firebase cloud function. So when I'm done, so let's make this final. Create for credential, and let's also make this final user collection equals Firebase faster. Yep. Dot instance dot collection. So where I want to save it, to the users collection. Now let's await users collection dot doc. So the ID of the collection will be the credentials. So extract the user credential from the user ID from user credential. So UID here, and dot set. So I want to now add set of data. Close this. So what will be data? So let's say UID first, and let's just copy this and just put this inside too. So, and also username, and that will be our name.text, name controller.text. So name controller.text, and it's submitting. So that should be all. Now let's use this and run our app. Where am I? So register. So this should be register, register, and sign in. Sign in. So let's refresh this before we do anything. So now let's say we create a username. Sorry, create a username Ahmad. So Ahmad at email.com. So let's make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I uncheck this, you see it here. Check this, check this. Now let's register. And this is why it takes us to the home page directly without having to navigate this, because in our Flash page, we already created a stream here which connects this home page and hotspot. So anything that happens inside your app, as far as the stream is still open, it just makes changes directly. So if as far as there's already a data here, that's our user data, it just takes us to the home page directly. So now in our home page, let's also check our Firebase console. So if I go to the auth, you should see the registered user. So amma.email.com. And if you check our data faster database, you should see users and this and the data. You can see the ID and data at the same time. That's because we use the same ID and data. And the reason why we're able to just put into our file store directly is because we already changed the rules to make sure that every user, even though they are not signed in, can write into the database and read. So we'll change that at the end of the tutorial if there's time, but that's all we did there. So that is simple. Thank God we are done with the hot page already. Now let's get into the home page.
Sorry for interrupting this tutorial at this point, but I would like to say that this particular tutorial was inspired by another app that I created recently. It's on the Play Store. It's named Git. I don't know, just random name, Git. But by the time this tutorial is uploaded, the app might have gone live. Google might have approved it already, so you can just check it out and just give me feedback on what can be improved or how, if the concept is good. Thank you. Now let's get back into the tutorial.
Now, what do we want to do in the home page? We want to get the users and display our sign-in user into our app. So now, how do I start? Okay, I already have a hook widget here. Let me create a string for us to get our books data from. Oh no, I can do that later. But let me just do that now. I wanted to just so we don't have to come back to it. So let's create a string. But before we do that, if I forget, let's create a book model. So let's say, so book model, let's say book model dot. So let's create a class book. So class book model. So let's say final string ID, final string UID. That's the user ID. User that uploaded the book. So let's say final. These are all required string title. And we also need a final list here for our books. So list and chapters. So let's also create a chapter here, the book, so we can also pass that in. So class chapter. All we will have is this final string chapter and final string data. So let's just create this constructor and also pass this here too. So we have a chapter. Yeah, that should work. So constructor. We also need to create data classes. So if you want to do that, or if you want to do that without using packages like freeze, you can just come to extension. I think the name of the extension is data classes here. Let me see if it comes up. Data class. So that's data class. It should now. I don't know why it's left again. So yeah, I think that data class generator. I don't know There's one that I used, but I don't remember the name. This should this should also work, but this is not the one I use. So let me see. Dot data definition here. I don't know if I should look for the particular extension or just keep going with the tutorial. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, yeah, this that data class generator, probably a different one. So this extension, you just install it and you can do what I'm about to do. So in our chapter here, all you have to do is just control full stop, and you see different things you can do. So generate data class, generate copy with, generate JSON serializable. So all we have to do here is just use generate data class. So it's going to generate everything you're going to need for your data class. You don't actually need the from JSON to JSON. All you have to do is just so you can remove the from JSON to JSON here for Firebase. So every other thing should stay. Yeah, map, string map, and we're going to pass this. So yeah, that's fine. Copy width, okay, that's also fine. And let's also make this immutable. Let's annotate this with immutable. So let's make this const. Yeah. So you do the same thing for this. So make this add the data classes to it. Annotate it with immutable. Make this a const constructor. And let's see if we have to change some datas in between. So let's see. I don't need to pass in an ID when I'm passing it, since these forms will be generated automatically. Not automatically, I'll just pass in the I'll use the document ID instead of generating my own special ID. So it's easier to check since this fab is generated already. So to use this part here, I have to change something. So let's make this from document snapshot. So document snapshot. I'm going to take in a document snapshot of this. So this, and so this is what I'm going to pass. This is what I'm going to get from Firebase. So document snapshot of, let's make this doc instead of dot map. So I'm going to change a lot of things here. So all we're going to return is um, don't mind the error, the warning message yet. I'm going to fix that soon. So let's say from our final data should be equals to doc.data. Yep. As map string. So as map string here. And let's say final ID equals doc. So document ID. So final UID. No, sorry. Final UID equals data UID our string. Sorry, our string. You have final title equals data title our string. Final chapter list should be equals to data and chapters. So chapters as lists dynamic. Yep. And now let me see. Let's also create the chapters. So final, because we want to convert the chapter list into the chapter module down there. So chapter lists, chapter list dot map. So takes in a chapter data. Yeah, let me use this. Let me use ch for chapter data. Probably cd for chapter data. So cd dot from map. There's something wrong somewhere. So no, nothing wrong. Let me see chapters. So let me see chapter. See chapters dot from no. Okay, so chapters. Let's just do sorry the chapters dot from map. Yeah, I think this should be it. Let me see chapters dot from map. Let me see if we can pass this into it. So okay, the CD chapter data as map string dynamic. Map string dynamic. Um, convert this to lists. So to list. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Now for our book model, let's just pass in the ID, pass in the UID here. UID, the title, and here let's just pass in the chapters, chapters. So you can save this, and okay, you don't need from JSON and to JSON here. So you can save this. Where is it? There's error somewhere. Okay, close this. Yeah. So now in our home, we can go back to our home page now and finish what we are about to start here. So we wanted to create a stream of data coming from the book documents book collection. So let's do that. Final no stream lists book model yeah, that, and get book stream. Okay, yeah, get book stream. So we're going to return Firebase Firestore, Firebase Firestore, Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection. So the books collection dot snapshot dot map. So this event here will be snapshot. So query snapshot. So query snapshot. So let's say query snapshot dot docs dot map. So our doc. So I'm going to convert the book model dot from document snapshot, passing the doc and convert everything to a list. So to list, let me see. To list, yeah, and that's all. So in our scaffold, create an app bar, with a title, context, all books, center should be true, and actions should be say icon button, compress. We'll do this later. So, sorry, compress, and icons should be icon. Sorry, icons dot exit to app, Yeah. Okay. I think that should be all we want to do now. We'll kind of work on that later. Before our body, let's also create a floating action button. So all we want to do is create a floating action button. So floating action button, compressed. Let's use the dot extend. So dot extend So we create this, and here we're going to create a text with add books or add book. Let's add an emoji here. So let's say book. Which one will be better? So this is an open book, and so if we click on this button, let's navigate to another page, which should be our book form page. So book form page. That's where we'll be able to create our book. So book form page dot dot. So let's see stateless. So book form page import material, also convert it into a hook widget. So hook widget and scaffold with body text book form. So now let's go back. Let's get this book form page. So in our home page, let's just paste this here and come back to this. So book model, the book form. So how do we navigate there? So all we have to do is just navigator. So navigator does push. So I can just hover over this and see how to use this. So the push. I can just copy this part here, place everything. So where I want to push it to, book form page. So push it to this, import the page, and that should be all. Context, yeah, that's all for this. You see the close action button down here. Yeah, this. And let's also get a let's use a string builder to build the rest of our app. So string builder. So our string should be, the type here should be list of book model. List of book model, and our string should be get books string or get book string. Get book string and builder. Yeah. So builder. So let's start with if the snapshot dot as error. So snapshot dot as error. I want it to return center text. So child text something went wrong. Something went wrong, and let's also make it bold. So text scale factor, make this 4. So I'm also going to copy this to check for something else. So let me see here. Copy this. So if the snapshot is connection state equals, let me see, connection state dot waiting. That means it's loading. It's trying to retrieve the data. So center, let's also is loading. You can use a circular progress indicator here. I'll just use loading dot. And scale factor should be 4. 4 should be better. So now let's get our document. Is let's close this. So here. So final doc should be equal to snapshot data. So snapshot dot data. Since we already know we've cut everything here, we know that it's not going to be empty. But it's not going to return null. It's either going to be empty or not, but it's not going to be null. So list of book model. Now, if doc dot is element is empty, sorry. So I also want to copy this part here If it's empty, you can add any other thing you want to add here, but I'm just going to use notebook yet. So no book, sorry, yet skill factor of 4. So now let's create if it's not empty, so let's say return padding. So edge insect.all, edge insect.all 10, child of list view builder, this view.builder. Also make these items count should be doc.length. So you can also doc.length. So the so now all we return here is a list style. So return. So before that, let's get the books. So final book should be equals to doc and the index. So return list style leading. So since I'm using any image, I'll just use a icon here. So leading, I want it to be I said emoji book. So let's see, notebook, blue book, orange book. So what else? The text scale factor I want is very large, so also use this text scale factor. Let's make this okay. It also gets a title, so we'll use the same here. So title and scale factor of 2. So all we have to pass in here is the book.title. So book.title and subtitle should be text. So book dot chapters, that's the length, the amount of chapters that we have that each books have. So dot length chapters in total. So it should be like 3 chapters in total, two chapters in total. So in total. So on top should take us to the view book page. We haven't created that yet, or let's just create that now. So you can just if you want to use it, we just use it directly. So let's create a view book page. A view book page dot. So let's just paste this here. View book page dot. So save this, and there's also the navigator. So this. So you copy this and you put it down here, and all we want to is the view book page. So view book page. We're also going to port it out, but not yet. So let's refresh this. It should load and display loading, then display no text, no book yet. So something like that. Loading, no book yet. So now for our book form page. Now let's start by creating a class for our book form, which is the same thing as, let me see what we have here. There's a reason why I'm doing this, but just continue. So now let's say class book form model, and paste this here. Oh, let me copy that down. Final string data and an ID. So ID. So final string ID. Let's also make this immutable. Annotative is immutable. So immutable. So that will come from the material package here. So create a constructor. Make this const. And also get the copy width. Generate the copy width. So that's what I mostly need here. The copy width. Now in our here we'll need what are we going to need? The text editing controller and this chapters list. So let's start with that. So let's say final title controller controller equals use text editing controller. Let's make this empty at first. So text initially should be empty. So and yeah, final chapters equals use state. So we want to keep track of the state of the app of the state of our list here. So empty list at first. And it's going to be list of book for model. So let's list of book form model, and we also need a is loading. So in case if it's when it's loading, when you have submitting, so is loading or is submitting, but is loading, you can change it if you want to change it. So is state use state, sorry, this will be a bool and false here. Yeah, so it's going to be false at the beginning, and let's also create a upload which we won't implement now. So we'll do that later. And other function we'll be needing are the chapter. So add chapter. I'll explain how this works later. So should I first create the UI so you kind of understand what I'm trying to do? Oh, okay, let me see. Chapters. Update chapter. This takes in a int index, string value, and the boolean if it's data or chapter. So bool is data. So you can know the one we want to update. So true, make this true. And also delete chapter. So delete chapter. Let's also create a book text input stateless class down here, so we can just, it's easier to just reuse the widget. So states almost set components there. There's no React. So book text input yeah. So let's say final void. I think most of what we used here should still be applicable. Let me see. So I'll need the helper text and enabled. Let me just copy all of this and I'll remove the ones I don't need. So copy this, paste it here. Paste it. Now which ones do I need? I don't need visibility. I'll need it on the helper text, int text, and enabled. So generate this, save, and this shouldn't be required. It should be equals to true. Also true. And now our text field, let's see if I can copy text field and just change some things. So copy this, paste it here. Now what do I need to change? No visibility here. I need the controller unchanged, enable int text, almost everything. So outside them, black, yeah. I think that's all. That's okay. Now let's go back to the top, create an app bar. So an app bar here. So app. Let's see if I can put it down. So from our home page, I can just reuse the app bar that I used here. So I just change a few things. So copy this, paste it here. App bar, okay, yeah. App bar, this should be form. Book form. Anyone you wish to use. So let me just wrap this in an elevated box. So elevated button, sorry. Elevated button, and it should say upload. Upload. I already created it, yeah. Upload, and the child should be text upload, and let's wrap it in the padding so it can, as you can see here, this is inside, so it can push it out. This can push the upload button outside. Let me see. Hold on to your padding, and only from the right. So the right, I want to by 15. Yep, that should work. So what else now? In our here, I'm going to wrap this in a padding against dot all. So let me use a symmetric here. Symmetric horizontal should be 30, and vertical should be 15. Now I won't be using a text here, so let me just single child scroll view here. Single child scroll view. Child, a column with children. So I have to use the book input field. So book text input, and just passing my controller, which is title controller, and the helper text should be book title, and create a size box here. So const size box, see height of 10. Now I'm going to use a for loop here, down here. So let's say for this might be strange to some of you, but yeah, you can use a for loop here. But that's what I want to use for this exact scenario, so you can let me just show you. You can use using a list view. So let's say for I should be equals to 0, yeah, and I should be less than chapters dot value dot length, and you increment it by 1, 2, and now we'll create a column with children, and let's give it a key at first. So let's see key, so it can track every each data with the unique key that is passed into it. So let's just pass the key. So use a value key here, value key, and the value should be this, the index. So not index I dot ID. So we'll pass the ID into the same ID we passed into the add chapters. So let's make this a main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot center, or just dot start, and children. Just bear with me. You cannot see what I'm doing yet. Let me try to go to this is what we've created now. So row, which you give us a children, and create a main axis alignment here. Main axis alignment. So main axis alignment dot center, and cross axis alignment. So cross axis alignment dot center. Yeah. And what else? Now let's create an extended. So let's create our book. Let's use book text input first. And wrap it inside an extended widget. So take full width. What do I copy? Copy this. What's happening? Copy and paste here. Yeah. So this won't be title control. We won't be using a controller here. So this should be chapter number. And let's say int text should be, let's say, chapter 1, or episode 1, or book 1, or chapter 1 and a title. So chapter 1 and title. So I'm using an unchanged here. Unchanged. We haven't implemented the unchanged yet. So unchanged should be empty here. And now let's also create a elevated button here. elevated button with compressed. No, we're not implementing it yet. So child should just be, let me see, text. Sorry, minus, maybe minus sign. So let's see if she restyle this. No, don't worry. I would leave or okay, let's style it. So let's see elevated button. So style should be elevated button dot style from. So what do you want to check? Just the fixed size. Let's try to make it the height increased. So size should be width of 20, height of 50. The width will not have any effect because we'll be wrapping this in an expanded widget. So expanded, expanded, and let's wrap this in a padding. So there's a padding, wrap with a padding, and symmetric horizontal, symmetric horizontal 8. And now let's save this to see what we've done. The reason why it keeps reloading like this is because I'm using web. If I'm using an Android app or Android emulator, it won't like it's just it won't need to auto restart. This is the apps keeps auto restarting because it's Flutter web. So this is how we've created this part here. You see how this I can let me comment this out first. So you kind of see what we are building, what we've built down here. It's going to have to auto restart again. That's why I've not been able to show you what's actually happening because it keeps it auto restarts every time. So add this. This is what we've created. So this is going to remove this if we have a lot of this book, no, chapter number. So let's create a markdown for creating the data that we are going to have. So let me see after padding expanded, after our row here, we're going to use the from the markdown package we installed. So this let me see prospect.yaml. So from markdown editable text input. So that's what we want to use now. Let's say markdown text input. Markdown text input. Yeah, markdown text input. So unchanged. Let's just make this empty for now. Or unchanged. So we're going to have to pass in a string value. So for now, just make this just do it like this. You also have to pass in a initial value. I think the initial value would be, and just make this empty. We're not actually using. You don't actually need an initial value here. Sorry. So what else do you want to label? So the label should be, let's say, story. This is where you put your story. And max 9, 8. You can make this 10 or higher, your choice. And you need to give it an action. No, I won't be doing that. And const size box the height of 20, so you can push it. So there's no so it's easy. If you have two of it, I'll show you. So they don't just squash together or something like that. So height of 20, height 20, and let's add a divider here. So you can finally see the use of making that place. No, sorry, divider, not divide. Divider, and thickness should be 2. You can make it more thick if you want to. And let's see color the colors just black. Now let's create a floating action button. Where does my scaffold end? So I think here. So floating action button. So floating action button dot extended dot extended compress. Let's just add chapters. So I'm just going to make this text add chapters. Let's add an emoji here. So let's say plus, heavy plus sign. This should be okay. So I'll show you what we've done now, and I'll add the for block. And we'll go to the logic of how to implement all this. So add book. So this is what we've created, and this add chapters, just keep adding this, so the chapter number and the story block here. So now let's add this back. For loop and the key. So now let's our logic. So to add what I was going to add chapters. So let's do that first. Here's it, add chapters. We'll come to deal with upload chapter. Let's also, yes, I want to create something else here. Where so this starts with a column. So I want to, if the body here, where's the body? Yeah, yes. So if is loading, dot value, if I forget, equals true. So all I want to do is I want to show a circular progress indicator. So circular progress indicator. That's what I want to show there if it's loading. So it should be centered. Let me wrap this in a center. Yep. And I think this should be constant, not the. Okay. Now I'll add. So if you just want to add this to this form, all you have to do is so add to the existing list. So our chapter value, which is this chapter's value, you just want to add to this list some particular value. So chapters dot value equals, so add to this list. So a spread operator. So you spread the existing data first. So chapters. Sorry, so it should be 3. Spread operator is 3. So chapters dot value. Chapters dot value. And now you add the book form model. Book form model ID should be const. So we use UID, the package we already installed UID to make it to get a unique value to add there. Unique ID. So UID, universal unique ID or something like that. I don't know the full meaning. That's just I don't know the full meaning. So UUID dot, let's use version 1. So v1, and the name parameter will be empty. Is it name or what? We have chapter, so chapter parameter will be empty. Chapter empty, and data will also be empty. So we can down here. So yeah, that should work. So that's for adding. Now to update, let me see. So you have to create updates for both. Instead of creating 2 updates for chapter and story, I'm going to use this is data to check if it's either one of them and just change what is necessary between both of them. So if is data if is data equals true, else let me see if is equals true, let's first deal with this. I can just copy and paste for the other one. So it starts with final chapter equals chapters. So let's first get the unique ID first. So chapters dot value. So we're going to use the passed in index to get the ID first. So index. And so chapters, now let's update it. So we're going to use the copy width we created here to just update the value instead of having to do a lot of if we know this copy width. This copy width here, we have to go into the how do I explain it? Go into the lists. There's no you have to go into the list without using copy. Using copy width makes it kind of easier because you don't need to touch any other things here. So let's just use chapters. I don't know how to explain how it works, but just go on with me. So chapters dot so equals to chapters dot value dot map and dot map. So now let's check now. So if e dot id, that's the if it's going to check for every id, equals the chapter, the passing id, passing index, so the passing id, so chapter dot id. So change return e dot copy width. So if you're using copy width, we have to like bring the entire if you're using copy width, this is let me see. If you're using copy, we have to put the entire book model here, book model, and start adjusting everything each one by one, which is unnecessary. So you can just use, by using copy, we can just use e dot copy width, where e is the chapter, right? Each e is the book form model. And can just change, you can change only the chapter. So change only the chapter to this passed in value here. And if this is if this does not match, we can just return e. And yeah, don't forget to convert it back to a list. So now it's an iterable. Now this is an iterable, so you convert it back to a list. To list. Yeah, that's okay. Now if this is not data, if this chapter is not data, wait, what did I change first? Sorry, it should be data first. Because it's data here, so change data. Now, if this is not the above, also, well, let's just continue. So copy this, paste it down here. You can also copy this chapter and just put it up here so you can use it for the photo instead of the way I did it here. So just all you have to do is just change this into chapter. So this particular function works for both chapter and data to update them and to delete, which is easy. So final chapter equals, so I have to use this to get the, so to delete chapters, you need the index. Let me see. So the chapters dot value equals chapters dot value dot where. So we have to check for where each element. So let's just make this where e dot id is not equals to chapters, the chapter here, chapter dot id. So all it's going to do is just remove that part here. So because that's going to be false. So to list. Yeah, and that is all for the list chapter. Now, I think we should just work on the upload, and so we don't have to, let's just work on the upload quickly. So to upload, let's first set is loading to true. It's loading. Make this async first. So async is loading dot value equals true. We try catch here. So you can add the way you want to catch your error. So but I won't be doing any. So try and catch here. Make this false. Also make this false here. So to do this, let's do collection. So collection reference. Yep. And books equals Firebase faster. Firebase faster dot instance dot collection books. I hope that's what we called it here. So let's see in our home here, home page here. We called it where is it? Okay, books here. So you just put into a constant, so you don't have to, so you don't make a mistake. So I'm trying to just go along with it so that I'm not following some particular things I follow when I'm creating app. So an application that I'm creating constant, so I don't have to. So this does not become a problem for me. So final, we also have to get the current user. So current user equals Firebase auth. Firebase auth. Yeah, is it Firebase auth? Yeah. Firebase auth. So no, dot instance dot current user. So as far as you're signed in, this shouldn't be a problem. And now let's get each. So if title controller dot length. So I won't be doing any validation. You can do that by yourself. Dot text first. So dot text dot length is less than 5. So let's just log something. So log comes from the, I think, developer. You yeah, that's developer. So you can just use an overlay to just display this to your user. So how can your how can your title be less than 5? So else if um what else? Let's check the chapters. So else if chapters dot value dot length, is it length or dot empty? Let me just check. Hmm. Dot value dot is empty. Sorry, is empty. So let's just log. So change this to can't be empty. So chapters can't be empty. Chapters can't be empty. So if all of this checks out, so this is another else statement and put the final chapter list equals chapters dot value dot map. So let's get the e. So let's return. Let me see chapter. Okay, chapters is e dot chapter and e dot data. So we won't pass in the ID. Dot data and yeah, to list dot to list. Yeah, so chapter list is list of chapters. So now let's pass this into Firebase. So final book equals book model UID. So our UID first. UID will be current user. So UID current user, which we already got here. So current user dot this cannot be null since we've been signed in already. Let me see title. Title will be title text controller dot text controller dot text, and our chapters will be the list of chapters. So list of chapters or chapter list. Yeah. And now to add this into our Firebase faster, so you can just do book. Is it book or books? So we use these books like footage. So books dot add. I'll just add it to map here. So add books dot add and book dot to map. Yep. And that's it. That's what we need to do. Convert it back to false. And we also want to navigate it back to our home page. So navigator dot pop and pass in the context. Sorry. I think that's all. And let's check other. Yeah, we need to add things that we didn't add. So to upload, let's check our app bar. Already added the upload here. What else? Text controller is here. On change. So on change here would be MC updates chapter. No, it's update chapter. Yeah, updates chapter. So updates chapter. While you have I for I. Value here will be the same view. So value. And it's true. Where is it? Let me just make this is data. So if it's data, this data should be false. So this data is done. So let's update chapter. We'll come back to remove here. So okay, use it here. This data. Update value. This data here is true. You don't need to write true, but let's just write true. You can remove since if it's not passed in update chapter is true if it's not passed in. So you don't need to actually pass this in. And now for removing it, let me see. Yeah. What did we call it? We said delete chapters, right? So delete chapters, and we just passing I, which is the index of this for loop. What else? Add chapters. For loop is already, so now let's refresh the entire app and you see what we've done so far.
And sorry for interrupting the tutorial again. I would like to say that if you want me to talk about the decisions I make while creating my app, Git, which is not that big app, it's just a small app but different concepts. Well, if you've tried the app and you think and you want me to talk about decisions I make, backend, state management solutions, why Flutter, um, the problems I had while creating the app, and how I solved those problems, please leave a comment and I might decide to create a tutorial, just small talks, 10 minutes, 20 minutes on why I made these decisions and how I solved those problems and everything else I can think about. Just leave that in the comments. Thank you, and let's get back into this tutorial.
So, and, so I've gotten a list of books that I can use from ChatGPT. Gotten a list of books that I can use from ChatGPT. So let's just use that to make the process easy, so I don't have to um, get some. Yes, and the art chapter, so you can see what's going to happen now. Just keep looking at this page here. So art chapters, see, it added this and this. If I click on another one, it adds another one to the bottom, and that's all it does. So remove this, removes removes the first one. If I know passing the key and everything, it's just going to remove the top. It's just going to pop from the top instead of removing the exact part that I want to remove. So and updates is just going to update this particular field easily. It's going to get the key and update this particular field. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say this chapter 2 or chapter 1. So let's just make this 1. You can see it knows exactly what's update and it updates here. Let's make this 2 and 2. Add another one. So 3 and 3. So if I remove 2, I should only get 1 and 3. So you see 1 and 3, no problem. But if I don't go through what I do by adding into a list and updating this exactly, and to remove it, I got the index and open it like this. It's just going to remove. If I should remove 2, it's just going to remove. No, how do I explain it? If I remove 2 instead of getting 1 and 3, I'm just going to get 1 and 2 again because it's just going to remove 3 because 3 is the last data from the list. So that's all I did here. Now let's create a let me see the data here. So we can pass this to our database. So what else? This. So let's create another chapter here. So how do I create this? Let's make this chapter 1 and everything here. Chapter 1. So chapter 2. And this. Now let's just upload this. It does not even show the loading bar because it was very very fast. So we'll do it. What happens when we click on this later? Let's just create another story here. This ones are short. So add chapters. So we have like 3 chapters here. So let's just create that down. And so this chapter 2 and this. Now chapter 3 and this and upload. Yeah. Now if you click on this, let's create our view book page. How this should be easy. So all we have to do is just let's say final, pass in our book. So book model, book model. So book. Let's make this required. add. So yeah, and now scaffold, the same above using. So let's just use that again and copy this and remove this constant here. So I'm going to remove the actions here. So passing the book title. So book.title const. Okay, this can't be const. And now let's use a page view builder. So page view. Let me first the count item count here. So let's also, okay, since we use a widget here, let's also use a page controller. So final page count or count, sorry, count for controller. So page count equals use page controller. So let's use a controller here. Page controller item count, which is book dot chapters dot length. Yeah, so our items here will be using the, I think, markdown widget or so from here. Yeah, markdown widget here. So let me see. Let's first the function. Yeah, so return markdown. Let me see. Okay, let me just write first. I can get it from here. So markdown widgets. So if I should do this, I should be okay. Got it. So markdown widgets, and let me see. Final B or data. B for book. So B equals book dot chapters, or yeah, just chapters index. And let's see down there, data equals b dot data. I think that should be all. And let's wrap this in a padding. So sorry, wrap this in a padding, not we padding. And it's edge insect dot. Let's use symmetry. That's left and right. No, symmetry. They're horizontal for left and right too. Horizontal should be 12 or 15. So 15. 15. And I'm also going to create a floating action button because on web it's not going to be easy for me to flip the page. Well, if you're using a mobile phone, you can flip the page easily. So let's see. I can create a floating action button. Floating action button, and let's say flow. That's another reason why I created this use page controller. If not, I won't use it, but so I can flip the page. Floating action button, and then press. Let me just make this and child. So const child, sorry, text. Is an emoji here. So next, let me see, next wrap button, and yep, let's see. So I'm going to use the arrow syntax here. So let's say page controller dot next page, and the duration for, so const duration. This for the animation, the page animation. So seconds, it's just 1 second, and curves dot debounce, curves dot is in also, and you can pick anyone. So curves dot bouncing and out. I don't know. So now let's add this to the home page. Where is it? Yeah, add this to the home page, and book. I just passed in, wasn't it? Book. I think that should do it. Okay, not a const. Where's its concept? So yeah. So save this. So I'm going to refresh this entire program, and we can now see what we've done. So this is what we've done here. So add book. Sorry, no, go back and add a book here. So click on this, and you can see the story here. And you can just next the next story. So the next one. The same thing with this. So you can just next story. since there's no next, you can click another button to make it go back. So all you have to do is, instead of using next page, I think you use let me see, um page controller dots. Instead of using next page, you use to go back. Let me copy this. So to go back, I won't be implementing that. I don't you have to put another two floating action buttons. So I think next page, instead of using next page, I think there's a previous page, or yeah, you use previous page. So it's the same thing here. So you just use previous page and you pass in the same argument, so it goes back to what it was before. And now what once you implement this logout as the last thing we'll implement here before to end this tutorial. And where do we put that? There was a action. Yeah, I created this before. So I have this in the try and catch. Try and catch in case if an error happens. So async should be await. So Firebase auth dot instance dot sign out. And if an error occurs, you can just pass in something here. So let's just return nothing and refresh. So you can just pass in a overlay or snack bar to just show the user that an error occurred here. So in this now Firebase console, let me also show you the new data that I've added. So here, so as you can see here, let me show you. So you can see the books added here into each collection. Let me scroll up a little bit. So this has chapter 1 and chapter 2. And this has 3 chapters. So this has 3 chapters. So we now implement the updates. You can implement that by yourself. That isn't just try to figure it out. And the rules, we can also change the rules back to match only users that are authenticated into our app. So we can use the different. I'm not an expert on Firebase file storage, but I know the ones I mostly use. So we can change this back to false. I think this should, or no, to use the only authenticated users, so that will be request.auth. Is not, if request.auth is not equal to null. So you can use this, or you can use you can match each document. This does match everything at once, all your database, all your collections. So this should also work. Now let's go back to our app. Let's try to log out. It logs us out. Now let's try to sign in. We've not signed in before. So let's say what to use. Okay, Ahmad at email.com, and we used 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and yeah. So we sign in. So as you can see, you only enter your name if you want to sign up, since we're not signing up, but signing it signs us in, gets everything. And we can add our books again. Let me use this. Let's see, chapters window. With another one. So I would have loved to show some animations out with Flutter hooks, but I think we've done a lot and it's getting too long. So I'm just, since this is the last one I'm doing here, so this will be the last part of the tutorial. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, please like and subscribe. And thank you for watching.